Good morning, everyone. My name is Belén Ribeiro, and I'm an associate professor of structural engineering at the University of Vigo in Spain. Today, I'm presenting here the SafeWay project in my role as project coordinator. Just to introduce you to the topic of the project, SafeWay has been granted by the European Commission through the topic Resilience to Extreme Events, and our consortium is integrated by 14 partners from 8 countries in Europe. The project started in 2018 and it will last for 3 years and a half. As overall aim of SafeWay, we can mention that there is the design, validation, and implementation of holistic methods, also the application of new tools and the adoption or proposing strategies that at the end contribute to improve the resilience of transportation networks. I will be supported by this graph where we can see the curve that shows the performance of the network when an external threat happens, in order to illustrate how the different components of SafeWay are contributing to the 3 main phases of the crisis management, okay? So in that way, how this contributes to the resilience. At the preparation stage, we can mention, for example, that the SafeWay is based on GIS technology, so it means that many different sources of data are required in order to perform our analysis, and some relevant data related to open maps and databases about the most frequent natural hazards in Europe. Also, remote sensing is playing a key role in the condition monitoring of infrastructure. And at the end of those new sources of information are used to create hotspots map, identifying that critical points of the infrastructure. With all these data, SafeWay proposed developing methods for more precise quantification of impact of damage, and that way being a means to identify or to prioritize mitigation actions, also including alternative routes in case of the network is disrupted. At the phase of response, SafeWay is proposing using the data collected from connected vehicles and also social media, and also the optimal communication through these channels. And finally, in a long-term scale, SafeWay is also proposing research about the identification of adaptation needs, new construction systems that respond to these needs, as well as some basic research on smart materials and new sensing technologies as fiber optics. Actually, all those components of SafeWay are integrated into an IT platform, which is the core of SafeWay. This topic, where our project has been granted, is a research and innovation action. So it means that the project has an important component on research activities related to methods, ingest all those data sources that I mentioned before, and also to integrate those methods in the key component of the IT platform, which is the decision support system, which is also based on predictive modeling. In terms of innovation, there is a strong component related to optimal communication with different agents involved in management and also the exploitation of the infrastructure. And that way, not only using the connected vehicles and the social media for optimal communication, but also by considering the traffic and behavioral information of the network, the system is integrating evacuation services that in this way can optimally provide alternative routes for the drivers and passengers. I will try to very quickly summarize which are the already achieved results in the project, because note that the project is still ongoing. We are starting now with the 3rd year of the project. So in terms of methods, SafeWay has been developing strategies and methods for the quantitative risk assessment due to natural hazards at a global scale, and particularly focusing on Europe, of course. So you can see in the slide some maps about the exposure of the road networks, and also the vulnerability map in terms of exposure to some natural hazards. All these results are already available in public deliverables of the project, so you can download them from Cordis. You can see also here a similar approach actually is also focused on the quantitative risk assessment, but in this case at asset level. The project has been working on developing methodologies for the vulnerability assessment, both structural and functional, and also on that framework for the quantification of impact of damage at different levels. And not less important is to mention the research that is being done in terms of better prediction of the deterioration processes that affect the structural components. All these methodologies are also already available on Cordis. In a different domain, SafeWay is also proposing using a multi-scale infrastructure monitoring by using both terrestrial remote sensing and also satellite remote sensing. In terms of satellite imagery, you can see in the slide in the left part some results of a ready commercial application, and in the right side of the slide you can see some of the models obtained with the mobile mapping systems that at the end are converted automatically in BIM models of the infrastructure by following, of course, open standards. The initial results are already available in the deliverable of the project. Another source of data for monitoring, as mentioned, is related to crowdsourcing concepts by using the information that is required from connected vehicles and also from social media, and also the communication through these channels in case of evacuation is needed. This is also ongoing research, but some preliminary results are already presented in another public deliverable of the project. Well, all those components at the end are to be integrated in the SafeWay IT platform, which is under development at this moment, but you can see some screenshots of the interface of the main program. Not only IT is the focus of SafeWay, but also other types of research, thinking of maybe more long-term effect, okay? One is the reconsideration of emergency management by including all these innovative approaches that we are proposing for the increase of resilience, but also in terms of construction domain, one important part of the project is focused to the identification of adaptation needs and also new construction systems that better respond in case of those extreme events. Smart materials and monitoring by using fiber optics is another field of research of the project. So given this said, well, at this moment, SafeWay is still ongoing, but some research needs have been identified already, okay? Even SafeWay already considers the paradigm shift from corrective maintenance to predictive maintenance. Once the project started working, several points have been identified, okay? There is a need for clear identification of resilience-based performance indicators and also how to quantify them, how to homogenize all the results that are being obtained from different data sources for the monitoring, and also how these new sources and the analysis of this data can be integrated into or with the traditional approaches based on condition rating. Other aspects have been identified in parallel to some particular activities of the project. And finally, even there is still some years before the project ends, we have already identified that as following activities once the project ends, the creation of new proposals and projects that give a response to the research needs that have been already mentioned. And also one key aspect for following the impact of the project is the exploitation of the IT platform, which is currently under development, and that includes all the components of SafeWay. Regarding market, this is quite diverse as we are a research and innovation action. Some services of SafeWay are almost ready to be in the market once the project ends, as Reticus or time-lapse applications and as manager. And some other activities still require some further analysis. So we are now in the process of developing the business plans for them. One important issue is that SafeWay is already contributing to the future standard on structural condition of existing infrastructures based on monitoring. So this is another topic it's relevant to mention here. So with this slide, I finish my presentation. I just want to thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer any question at the end of this session. Of course, you can also contact us through our social media or our project website. So thank you very much.